Hello friends, this is Ganesh. Hope you're doing awesome. And in this video, we're going to see one of the business scenario which normally we use to develop. It's nothing but customer create process. So if you're an ACC, probably we have like XD01, 02 or 03 transactions. And if you moved to HANA, probably you have a BP transaction. Okay. So this is about the technical overview. Normally we started looking for the process to create a customer, maybe a BDC or a BAPI. So mostly we prefer to go with a BAPI because the depends on the versions, the screen might change. So that was the preference also. So we do have few function modules or BAPIs in SAP. So I'm going to walk through those BAPIs and their functionalities. Then finally, I want to present and note what the product company SAP says about those function modules. Based on that and based on your business needs, you can prefer or you can choose which function modules will fulfill your business requirement. Okay, so that is the idea of this entire video. So we'll get into this video. So this business scenario, mostly I will walk through the function module itself, because converting that function module values to the program is pretty easy though, so I don't want to waste much time on that. So as per the previous business scenarios, I just ran through everything only in the function module level. Same thing we are going to follow in this video as well. Let's get into the slides first. So we have a list of BAPIs to create a customer data in the SAP side. These are the four which I have chosen for this particular video. One is BAPI customer create, or BAPI customer create from data or create from data one. And finally, we have SD customer maintain all. So these are the four BAPIs. Okay. So each one has its own properties and own way of executing it. So we'll try to understand, and then we can able to fit this depends on the different business needs. So the first one, BAPI customer create, just calls the transaction directly. It's like call transaction with the mode A. So it calls either XD01 once you executing it, and or it's BP transaction, depends on the version of SAP. NetWeaver, because one in some of the NetWeaver versions you have BP's, sorry, XD01 is absolute, so it's directly called BP transaction. So if it is a lower versions, yes, it calls the XD01. This function module doesn't have any import parameter where you can give the proper basic information to create a customer, like name, address information, or a company code information, sales information. So nothing in this particular BAPI. This calls the transaction directly, almost a BDC. So the next is BAPI customer create from data and from data one. So both are similar things. So what happens is, you can see there is a create from data is nothing but it creates a customer based on the existing customer information. So you have to give a reference customer number to execute this BAPI. Otherwise, you will get an error saying reference customer does not exist in the master data. A very limited information you may pass, but compared to this, at least you have a place where you can pass a name, very generic information of the customer. You're able to pass it. You don't have an option called company code or sales information. Over there you're not able to pass it, but in the reference you have to pass the sales area for that existing customer. Okay. And customer create from data one is also the same functionality. Maybe I can say the next version of the same BAPI. They added a company code information and I believe one more tax information, I'm not sure. So 3 or 4 import parameter has been added along with the optional parameters also. You don't have much on that, but at least few they have added it. So this also work in the same way. You need a reference existing customer number. And then it calls internally, if you see, it calls our final BAPI SD customer maintain all. from BAPI, just to call based on this input, it will use this function model or a BAPI. It creates the customer number finally. And these two has the internal commit, so you do not use a BAPI transaction commit function module explicitly, but this needs a BAPI transaction commit. Okay. And if you go to the final one, SD customer maintain all, it has detailed independent segments of the customers. Like a table level, you can see very simple to connect. You have a tables and the names also mention ID underscore KNVB, KN. AP, so whatever it is, okay, relevant to customer, whatever information you need to pass, you can pass it. I can say it's a full-fledged place where you can pass most of the informations to create a customer. Okay, so this is about the very basic understanding about these four different BAPIs, at least to create the customer. And before getting to the system, what SAP says about this particular function model or a BAPI is this BAPI SD customer maintain all is it's belongs to a function group VD02, and especially it's created to fulfill a business scenario under the system is SAP Online Store and the SAP Internet Sales R3 edition. It's not for all the systems in SAP, only for these two. Okay, and so meaning you can create or change consumers from SAP Online Store and SAP Internet Sale R3 edition in the R3 systems. Okay, and you cannot use them to create or change customer in any other systems or in a standard system. Okay, so but still it's available. You can say the release date, maybe if you're a different system, you're not into SAP Online or SAP Internet Sales, you can see there is no release date on it. Okay, because that is not intent for that particular system or particular your system, which is not either SAP Online or SAP Internet Sales. Okay, so you cannot use, but still it works. Okay, so the meaning is they given a proper documentation about this function module, and once you implement it, after that implemented in any of the system which SAP is not listed here, then what happens? You cannot claim that this function model is not working properly, because they mentioned very clearly in the documentation of this function model. They have a note on it. I'll share the note as well. And few more is you can only do this if you want to create a customer in your standard system. Preferable option is ALE or batch input. Okay. And then when you use above mentioned BAPI outside of the online and internet sales R3 edition, so what may happen is the customer records were created or edited outside of the system. There may be a potential possibility of losing the data. Okay, that's what they generically mentioned over here in the note. And additionally, probably they might receive some information or a complaints from different customers about this function module, I guess, because they have listed that also. If you create a customer via this function module, it does not validate mandatory fields, one thing. And created incorrectly, it's affecting all the subsequent process. It's very generic term. And then is unable to create customer using create from data. Some areas where it shows is not the information is not enough, so it's giving a message saying that cannot able to create the customer. There may be a missing field update in the function module like SD customer maintain all, and it does not create the business partners. And BAPIs for creating a customer is not available in LSNW. They might search in LSNW, but this BAPI is not visible over there. And it's allowed to input invalid value, like there is no basic validation to be added in the function module. So change history also not updated with this function module. So these are the list out, like you may encounter this issues once you use the function module, but you are already using this, you're not getting any issues so far with your client and customer. That's pretty good. So this is nothing but if any issues comes, make sure are using this function module in the proper system. If not, these are the issues you have to handle it. Simple. And this is the note number, and if you have a time, please go through this note number as well. It clearly mentioned what is the behavior of this BAPI or function module. Okay, but still we want to just use it because of our need. Mostly because if you open any blog to you just Google it for customer create, only these function models are listed in the most of the places. I feel it won't give major issues. Maybe here and there it may be causes, but it's running smoothly. I feel it. Okay, so let's go through it and have some test data and see how it's working in the system. Okay, let's get into the system. So this is my system. This is actually a HANA system. It's not ECC. So once you start doing it for customer create, okay, and execute it. So you don't have much information, or you don't have information at all to just initiate some values, like passing some values and then to create a customer master. But no, because anyway it's going to call the xt01, but in my system it's BP transaction, because it shows very clearly transaction xt01 is absolute in this system, so it calls BP transaction directly. So you might know what could be the value here. It's nothing. Even x, yeah, again it calls. Okay, I didn't explore much on that particular option, but it calls the transaction directly. Okay, it's almost like a BDC. So it won't help much if you continue to go there. It won't help much to write a program, especially to create a customer master without using the transactions. So we'll go to the next one. So the next one is BAPI create from data, and if you see the input parameters also very less, you might have information or a place where you can add the generic details. What is the first name, last name, street, city, region, country, language. Okay, and then one more is the reference, because this function module work with, well, sorry, BAPI works with the reference only. So you have to pass the sales org, channel division, and reference customer. Based on that, it will create the customer from the backend. And if you go to display and if you see the code, it internally calls SD customer maintain all. Okay, it calls this inside the function module. Same, create from data or create from data one, both calls only this function module. So now let me have some codes over here. It means values. First name, okay, name one. Okay, this is name. Nothing much. Postal code, city, region, country, and few things. I have already ran it because I want to make sure this is a rental system, so I know a few informations to be added. Okay, language, currency, I hope these are the things, and a reference to be added here. Okay, if no reference, what happens? If you execute, it shows an error message saying that the reference customer does not exist in master record. Okay, so we have to add the value over here. So I have few. Okay, I come with this. Okay, I want HPRO and one DGHP. Okay, DGHP and the reference customer number. All good. Execute. So I just created a customer with number 10. Let's see whether it is. It's getting updated here. KN. Yes. I showed in the KNVV table. Obviously, it updated in KNA1 as well. Okay. So it's getting added over here. Okay, this is for create from data. You are able to create a customer, but you need a reference of it. If you have a customer reference, you are good with that, just create it. Okay, so whatever is available over there, based on that, it creates your new customer also. If you go to BAPI customer one data, this also calls the ST customer maintain all in the same code. If you go, just go inside and have a look on it. And you have some personal information data here, so you can add it, first name, last name, and everything. And then optional personal data, you have the same way you have a company data. If you want to add any company code informations, so you can add it over here, almost the similar generic informations. And then you have a company code optional data, and copy reference is almost same like the previous BAPI, sales, distribution channel, division, and your reference customer. So I do have a test data on it. So just have it here. I'll just go through very simple details, very basic information. I have added it. Okay, name and city, country, region, language, and currency. And go here, nothing more. And I have added the mandatory options. The same thing, whatever I have added over there. Okay, so just add it and just execute it. You might have one more as 11. It got created. So these two function module doesn't require any explicit commit. It automatically created in your backend system, means in your database table. So KNVB, it's okay. My import is till 10, 15. Yes, it's got created in the relevant tables. Okay, so it's creating. The customers are getting created. Again, this is not a SAP online store or internet sales system, right? So, but still it works as expected. And we have the final function module, or BAPI SD customer maintain all. If you execute, you will have a lot. Okay, so you have a separate import parameter for KNA1 table, KNB1, KNVV, and then still you have a reference also. If you want, you can make that as a flag. Excuse me, it takes the KNB1 reference and relevant tables also. So if you want, just add it. All are optional. You add it. That creates your customer successfully in your system. Okay, so as I mentioned, if it is clear, if it is working fine, you are good. Okay, but if you find any issues, you have to fix it. So I think I do have a test data over here. Yeah. Okay, let's go one by one. So this is fully KNA1 informations. Okay, generic informations. You have lot like KDO, KD also is there. Okay, I'll do one thing. One point I want to mention it here, probably it might useful. I deleted it. Okay, and I'm trying to execute. So these are the informations. I just quickly go through wherever I just mentioned the company informations here. Only the box company code I mentioned it. And then I added few in KNVB table like sales org, and those informations are also I have added it. Nothing in my tables, and these are mandatory part. Like you have to maintain few parameters in this BAPI address one, otherwise you'll get an error. Okay, I will show you the place also where it have the if condition. So I removed one value from KNA1 and trying to execute it, and I'm getting a generic information message KNA1 underscore incomplete. Probably once you start newly working with this function module, you might receive this exception very frequently, because this exception has been raised with 7 or 8 conditions, if conditions. Okay, so it means one if condition, but 8 different logical they have added it. So if any one end of the parameter is empty, you will get a generic message saying that K1A1 is incomplete. So how to identify which is empty? So what I'm going to do is, I know the message ID is F2, message number is 804. So just debugging, go with the debugging and go to breakpoint at message is F2 and it's 804. Enter. Now go the full execution, F8. It stops exactly where the message is getting triggered. What is the issue? So these are the if the conditions. Oh, so I'm sorry. F5. Hold on. It just came out. Means I missed the place. Okay, I got it. Let's go a little slow. Yeah. So these are the things to be filled to avoid this error. So I have filled name one, I have filled what is this city, I have filled the sorting search term, and even that I underscore BAPI address name one also to be filled. Yes, that is also filled. City also filled, and address two not empty. Here it is search for BAPI one, that is also fine. Then you have a flag to be, it should not be initial, yes, almost fine. Let me delete that. And then this, the entire structure should not be empty. So I just added only the name on it. So to skip this particular validation, and this is the place where actually we removed, right? Removed the value intentionally. So what happens? This is empty, so it getting this error. Okay. So now if you go here, see, I added just only one field I added to ignore this error. Okay, let's go and refill it. Um, Go back HPRO. I think so. Let's see. KTOKD. HPRO. If not, anyway, I'm getting an error. Let's see. And execute it. Still, okay, I'm getting another error. This error is for I think the validation of KTOKD, I believe. Again, yeah, it's saying K1 B1 is incomplete. So meaning the value whatever I have entered, it's not it's valid. Maybe you can see one more time which table they are finding out that. So T077D master data issue. So they are trying to find based on my input. Yes, it's giving an error. So what I can quickly notice is 1 minute. Okay, let me get the test directory again. So what actually the value? KT, okay, HPRF, I copied, I think works, I just entered it. Okay, now I'm trying to execute. I don't have this in, okay, no errors now. This function model BAPI doesn't have an internal commit. So obviously you have to call the BAPI transaction commit explicitly, but otherwise it won't add it in the database table. Yes, it picked the number, but there is no explicit commit, so it won't add it in your tables. Yeah, we can quickly check. 11, refresh, no. Okay, what we can do, we can test the function module. Okay, I'll simply, okay, here I added the box, and here only these three things. So I want to show you what are the areas I have added, and BAPI address same like key and name one I added. Here only name one I added, nothing else. Okay, function module, execute test sequence, customer maintain, and BAPI commit, test data directory, and execute it. So it's created a customer end with 13. Go back, automatically come to BAPI transaction commit function module or BAPI. Execute it, it's fine now. So 13 is the customer number. Let's see in the table. Yes, it picked. Okay. So this is a way these three function modules or the fourth one, BAPI customer create, also works. So depends on your customer needs, it working fine, perfectly, it's well and good. But the intention is if there is any issue with the customer, sorry, any with the issue with this function modules, apart from SAP online internet service, you can't claim that this is not working perfectly. Okay, so you have to handle it, you have to solve it for yourself. So thank you so much, and probably I'll try to have, if it is required, if request comes, I may have put a video about how to create a customer using PDZ. And I'm trying to I already found some class and methods which supports HANA, which creates the customer. I'll try to put a video based on that particular class and method as well. Okay. So thank you so much for your time, and go through it. If any doubt, please let me know, and see you in the next video. Bye.